Welcome into Warriors Today by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Chase Senior. Hope all of Dub Nation had a great weekend. Appreciate all of you for making today's show a part of your day. And we have a lot to get to on the program today. We're going to talk about Jaylen Brown and whether or not the Warriors should put together a trade package for him if he wants out. We'll also talk about the Nets and them not wanting a couple of players on this roster if a Kevin Durant trade were to happen. But first, I want to ask you this question right now because Draymond Green was watching some games during the weekend, and he took to Twitter to say that he thinks that the Golden State Warriors in 2017 would mop the 1997 Utah Jazz, and they would crush the Chicago Bulls led by Michael Jordan, given how the game is played right now and how the Warriors were so successful going back to 2017. So which team do you think is better? We'll pose that question once more. Here's the tweet from Draymond. I'm watching the 98 Bulls versus Utah NBA Finals. I can't help but notice that our 27 team would have beaten these Bulls by a dub and these Jazz by 40 if they're going to play these brands of basketball, and that's why it's dumb to compare eras. Thankfully, we have the new media for Draymond Green to give us just top-level analysis, but let's go back to that question. Draymond thinks that the Warriors would have been victorious in that NBA Finals series against the Bulls and they would have crushed the Jazz. Who do you think wins? CHI for the Bulls, UTA for the Jazz, GSW for the Golden State Warriors. Fascinated to see what you all come up with. Let's now pivot to the current happenings with this Warriors team and get you caught up with the latest Kevin Durant trade rumors. The Nets don't really want what the Warriors might have to offer. We're talking about Andrew Wiggins as well as Jordan Poole being the centerpieces in a potential trade for KD. Now, last week we did talk about Bob Myers pretty much shutting down this KD trade, but things happen in the business world all the time. Businesses pivot, they have a change of opinion, and sometimes they say, we don't want to make this acquisition. We don't want to make this business change. Sports organizations say, we're not going to make this trade, but then they end up making a move. So that's why we continue to talk about it here on the channel, and we're just keeping you up to date with everything going down on this front. This coming from Zach Lowe. The issues are with Andrew Wiggins as well as Ben Simmons. You run into this designated rookie fiasco. The intel that I have is that the Nets are not super high on Andrew Wiggins or Jordan Poole as sort of centerpiece players in a trade for KD. Then you get to the other guys who are relatively unproven in the NBA. So I don't know if there ever really was a deal there that the Nets would have done. Obviously, you have to explore it if you're the Golden State Warriors. And we know that the Warriors have a lot to offer. On top of Andrew Wiggins and Jordan Poole, you could include James Wiseman, Jonathan Kuminga, as well as a couple of other pieces on this team, Moses Moody in that deal as well. But I think Golden State is content with where they are coming off an NBA championship, and they should be content with where they are coming off an NBA championship. You hold on to Andrew Wiggins, and he was such a good two-way player last year for the Warriors that you want to continue to see his growth and what he can do on this roster, especially with his confidence continuing to grow. First All-Star season last year, 17 points per game, 4.5 boards, more than 2 dimes. He connected on about 39% of his three-point attempts, and defensively, he was masterful. He was a magician. He was great against Jason Tatum, and at points, JT looked lost when he was defended going up against Andrew Wiggins. And then you look at Jordan Poole. Just a vast improvement that took place, and for Warriors fans, they want to continue to see these improvements just further develop in terms of Jordan Poole's overall game. And what he was able to do from 2020, 2021 to this past year really was just an incredible developmental story. And credit to Jordan Poole and the Warriors player development program, because they've been able to really maximize the talent level of a lot of these players during this dynastic run, and Jordan Poole one of them. I mean, you look at the numbers on the left side of your screen as compared to what he did this past year. Can those numbers be even better? Now, for the Nets to not even want Andrew Wiggins and Jordan Poole, that's crazy to me. And the Warriors are probably laughing because they want to continue to move forward with those players on this team, and they should, because these players showed that they can be a part of a championship-level team. Speaking of this Warriors roster, just as a whole, from top to bottom, how would you grade it? A, B, C, D, or F? Let me know right now in the comment section. You look at this Warriors starting five, and this bench unit is also really, really good. Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Andrew Wiggins, Draymond Green, Kevon Looney. You can interchange Kevon Looney with James Wiseman, but my hunch right now is that Looney is going to be the starting five ahead of James Wiseman just because of the inexperience level of Wiseman. He only played a handful of games, literally, at Memphis during his freshman year. Played half the season his rookie campaign and didn't play at all this past year during his second year, and played 4 games in the NBA Summer League. And Kevon Looney has showed, look, I'm the glue guy. I'm a really good center. I understand the system well. You just brought me back in NBA free agency. He should be the starting five, and he has a point to prove there. There's no question about that. Then the bench for this team, really good. That's why I'm giving this Warriors roster an A grade. We'll get to the latest on Jaylen Brown and whether or not Golden State should enter the JB sweepstakes if he does demand a trade. But first, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Once again, we are closing in on yet another milestone of 44,000 subscribers. You see the numbers here to my right. 227 people away from 44K. Throughout draft time and free agency, we were picking up 800 to 1,000 subs on any given video. Can we pick up 227 to get the 44K? If you want informative, entertaining, and constant Warriors coverage that's consistent on the daily, just hit that sub button and join the Dub Nation family here at Chat Sports. Now on Warriors today. If Jaylen Brown does in fact want out of Boston, should the Warriors get involved? Now, this is interesting because early on Monday, Shams Charania of The Athletic did report that the Boston Celtics have offered Jaylen Brown in a trade for Kevin Durant. And JB, I don't think that this is just a coincidence. He tweeted this out right after that report was made from Shams. Shaking my head. So is he frustrated with him being included in these trade talks? Is he frustrated with the current situation in Boston? According to WEEI, the flagship radio station in Boston, the Greg Hill Show saying today, word on the street is that Jaylen Brown wants out. And if he wants out, should the Warriors be interested in one of the best young wings in the NBA, who the Warriors grew to know very well throughout the NBA Finals as a guy who at 25 years old is a premier two-way player. He's also under control for the next couple of years at a pretty affordable going rate as compared to what other players are making at that current status. This upcoming year, $26.5 million. 2023, 2024, nearly $29 million. Then he becomes a free agent in the 2024 offseason, still at that young age of 28. If you traded away Andrew Wiggins for Jaylen Brown, the contracts match, and that's a player-for-player swap that could happen, but I don't think that Boston would take it, nor would I do it, because I think that Andrew Wiggins just fits really well on this team. As for Jaylen Brown's growth, it's been really, really awesome the last couple of years, man. I mean, he went from being such a raw prospect out of Cal to fine-tuning his skill set and becoming a well-rounded offensive player. He needs to do a little bit of work on the handle, but he could barely even dribble coming out of Cal. He couldn't even shoot the three, but you look at the three-point numbers over time, 2018-19 going up, 34.5%, up to 38, nearly 40, and then this past year with a little bit more volume, 24 points per game, 6 boards, 47% from the field, almost 36% from three. Jaylen Brown, folks, is a terrific wing and a terrific fit on the Warriors, but you would probably have to get rid of Andrew Wiggins. And for Boston, I think that the Celtics stay intact. I don't think that at the end of the day, they're going to trade away JB for Kevin Durant. I think some other teams have better offers out there to put on the table for the Brooklyn Nets. The Nets already turned down the offer from Boston. And if the Celtics do want Kevin Durant in Boston, they're going to have to add more to their trade package, which included Jaylen Brown, Derek White, and a future pick. You might have to include Marcus Smart. Here's that trade offer right there. According to Shams Charania, Celtics would receive KD, Nets, Jaylen Brown, Derek White, and a draft pick. Are the Nets willing to ask for less? Or are the Celtics willing to ask for more? That's really what it comes down to. So interesting nonetheless. I don't think the Warriors going to be a part of these JB trade talks if he does in fact want out, but it is a big storyline going on in the NBA right now, so we had to cover it. What do you think though? Should the Warriors get involved with Jaylen Brown? I for involved, O for out. You join the show and let me know.